everything is of some value. Godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. This is Yahweh 365, where we promote the greatness of God and Christ-like living. This is your brother Phil with another episode on Pursuing Godliness. As we talked about last time, godliness is having a reverence towards God and living that reverence out in a lifestyle of obedience. So in order to have the right foundation on our journey to pursuing godliness, we must have the right perspective. In Matthew chapter 7, starting in verse 24, Jesus says, "Therefore, if anyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them may be compared to a wise man who built his house on a rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house, and yet it did not fall, for it has been founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand." Verse 27. The rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. So as we pursuing godliness, we have to understand what in the world we are pursuing godliness for. And I think God has given us a clear picture as to our ultimate goal of what He has created us to do. It says in the Bible that we are created sole purpose to give God glory. So we were created to glorify God. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31, it says, "Whether we eat or drink or whatever it is that you do it all to the glory of God." In Romans 11, 33 through 36, it goes on to say, "For from Him, through Him, and to Him be all things. To Him be the glory of God." So whatever it is that we do, it's all for the glory of God. And somebody may ask, what in the world is glorifying God? What does that mean? To glorify God is to demonstrate His greatness and His character in the way that we live. So the way that I talk, the way that I behave, the way that I roll, the goal should be to glorify God. So when people see me, they ought to see the greatness of God. When people see you as believers, they ought to see the greatness of God, the greatness and this character. And check this out. God is all about His glory. And so it says in the Bible, as I think it's Isaiah, it goes on to say that He shares His glory with no one. So God is so big, He is so awesome, that on His stage, there's no room for anybody else to share glory. You and I, we think we may be cool because of our talents, our gifts, the way that we carry ourselves, and we sometimes receive glory from men. But God says, no, I can't share my glory with nobody. Despite who you are, what you do, I'm too big and you're too small. One thing that gets in the way when it comes to our goal in that glorifying God is this issue of sin. Sin has flawed our view on who we are and also on who God is. Unfortunately, some believers think that God is some Santa Claus, some sugar daddy, some genie in a bottle, thinking that if I say the right prayer the right way, then God is going to get me everything that I want in life. And that's a flawed view of God. You can say that is an idolatrous view of God. You have imagined in your mind who God is, but that particular God doesn't even come close to what has been revealed in the scriptures. So our ultimate goal as we pursue godliness is to demonstrate God's glory first as a foundation for our lives. It's all about His glory and not our glory. So here's some things that we can start thinking about as we work on pursuing godliness in our lives. Question number 1, what kind of obedience will give God glory in my life? What kind of obedience will give God glory in my life? Question 2, what are some things that I can be doing right now in my thoughts, in my words, in my actions, in my relationships with others, in the way that I serve others? What things can I do that would magnify the name of God in those areas? I'm going to leave you with this, fam. The most important goal in our lives is not to just have morally good lives, but the most important goal in our lives should be that our good morals point back to the greatness of God. God is so amazing. God is so amazing that He allows broke, busted up people to be redeemed, then be ambassadors for His kingdom, to give Him glory in this world.